Be good to go.
We're going to call the Tuesday, May 6th, 2025 meeting of the Westminster Board of Zoning Appeals to order. With that, do introductions. I'm Scott Graff, the chair of the BZA.
Richard Huss, until tonight, I was the newest member. Been on board for all of about 3 months now.
And we have a brand new member as well.
This is my very first meeting, Peter Basile. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Welcome board. It's good to be back to 3 members. We also have the approval of our April 1st, 2025 meeting minutes. I understand there were some comments that you did.
I provided some changes, and I believe we're going to continue the approval of those to the next meeting until those were updated.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll hold off till next month to approve those. And then the next item on the agenda would be the election of officers. We've had a number of changes. We'll go ahead with election of a new chair and vice chair for the board. I'll entertain a motion for nomination rather for.
If the chair is filled,
Okay.
it's the,
So we're not one back.
we're not redoing the chair,
Just
it's
a question.
that the vice chair resigned his position, so we need to fill that vacant vice chair. So Scott, you stuck
So
with
election of
it.
officer.
Yes.
Sure. Okay.
Vice chair.
I would nominate Mr. Hess for the vice chair.
Oh, you beat me by a couple of seconds.
I will second that. We've got a motion and a second for Richard House to serve as vice chair of the Board of Zoning Appeals. Objections from Mr. Russ, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Great. Does Karen have the approval letter?
Yes.
She sent it to you, I believe, for codes.
Yes. You have a chance to.
I did. I sent her a couple of just minor little errors, so
Okay, I mean, well, so I was happy with how it was drafted and your comments as well as far as the content. So this is in reference to a final decision for BZA case 25-02. Entertain a motion for approval regarding the request at 148 West Main Street, Westminster, to turn the property into a duplex dwelling.
I move approval of 25-02.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor of the final decision?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't think I'm eligible to vote since I did not sit on it.
Let the record show that it's 2-0 decision that. Sign that after. And with that, I think we should probably pause until Karen gets here to discuss the matter before us sitting at this evening. Hopefully she's here with that. Make a motion that we recess until she arrives.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're gonna hold off till our attorney shows up to hear the case.
It sounds like our church meetings.
Is that good or bad?
Depends on what day it is.
How do you pronounce your name? Eamon. Eamon. But then the last name, Jai? Jai. So.
St. Paul's Church. Actually, the house 2 doors down was just sold. There are a couple other houses, nice houses. So.
That's one of the things. All of the things.
Walk through.
Yeah, really, you did all the way up there. Yeah, I wouldn't have walked.
I was happy to see it. The property was cut up. I would say some still consider places in Charles Street. Some of that. Because the very
Yeah, see, I was about 3, 5, 7, 4 people about anything that if he.
like it's zoned heating pool. One for each square feet.
Well, that's just your line, your line.
I think it's possible. It's a couple of things. Live there.
Six days a week in the summertime.
It's always full time.
The sun's
It's just the springtime is busier.
ordinary. Might have been his practice. I think it was original.
June, you actually, how much is off?
And then he moved out, but he got there.
Yeah.
You're usually gone by then.
Yeah, I think it started with
It's like 5 rainfall.
Now you're usually gone by 5.
At our house.
If you look at
seats. There's the second.
There's a
central.
It's like 5:17.
They have been, but it's a great thing, we're trying to get historic advantage for history.
More open.
Good, yes, yes, we can be.
where you guys do it.
We'll make that out. So we made it through everything, elections, obviously, recessed until somebody got here.
I apologize. That's
Oh, there's only 5 minutes.
horrible. Horrible, horrible.
We just recessed.
Don't wait any longer.
Great, we will reconvene now that the councils are, this evening's public hearing has to do with, case number 25-03. This is a special exception, at the property located at 279 East Main Street, Westminster. It's an application by, Damon Ajayi, the applicant. And property owner is requesting approval of a special exception for an automobile, sales as permitted by Article 8B, Section 164-49, 45.9A, 6 of the zoning code of Westminster.
Mr. Chair, before we start this meeting, I have a question concerning a procedural issue. I'd like to get some clarification on it. Maybe. Okay. I would ask if the Director Depot would be able to confirm when the publications in the newspaper were made with this particular hearing.
So in the staff report itself, the dates were incorrect. I think Mr. Atkins provided updated dates for the hearing. However, I was pointed out that there's a section requirement in the ordinance for notification to be placed in the newspaper 20 days prior to the hearing. We placed it 20 days prior to the hearing, including the day of the hearing. We've done that in the past where we use the day of the hearing as one of the 20 days. It could be argued, and we did discuss this with council, that the ordinance itself says prior to the hearing, so it could be argued that the date of the hearing cannot be part of that 20-day time period. So again, we advertise 20 days before the hearing. It meets that standard if you take into account the day of the hearing as being one of those 20 days.
What were the dates? It was the 17th and 24th, for those dates that are
Correct.
I have reviewed the city code, and code section 164-166B states that upon the filing of a notice of appeal or a petition for special exception, the board shall take the following action preparatory to holding a hearing. Subsection B, notice of the hearing shall be advertised in 2 issues of a newspaper having general circulation in the city, and the first insertion shall appear in such newspaper at least 20 days prior to such hearing. Code section 1-12B1 addresses computation of time and states that the time within which an act is to be done shall be computed by excluding the first and including the last day. And if the last day is Sunday or a legal holiday, that shall be excluded. Code section 1-12B8 states that the word shall is mandatory. Mr. Chair, based on my reading of the code sections and the dates on which the publications were made, it is my conclusion that the first publication was not made at least 20 days prior to today's hearing date. Unfortunately, I think it missed by 1 day. Notice provisions such as this one are intended to affect due process, to permit members of the community to be present and appear, and note any concerns or objections or have any questions concerning the petition at hand. Given that the code states that the word shall is mandatory, I do not believe that we can proceed today. The matter should be postponed and the publications, the notices republished in the newspaper, as well as any other requirements for this hearing. It is regrettable, but it is also in my view, for the protection of the petitioner, because if an objection were to be lodged after this meeting, and there was procedural defect that could cause potentially undue delays in hearing this petition in the future. And I would move that this hearing be postponed and that the board republish and undertake all actions which it would had this petition been filed now.
Based on this, I would move to postpone.
For purposes of us being able to have a discussion with staff and concurrence, or we need to.
Been made and seconded, maybe argue only 2 days short on it, but what is staff's opinion regarding it?
Again, as I stated, in the past, we've used the day of the meeting as one of the 20 days. We do have people here, and I do concur that with interested parties here and the fact of due process, and that the ordinance does state prior to, that after talking to council, that I think we need to amend our process to ensure that it's 20 days prior to the meeting and not include the meeting date. So staff is comfortable with a continuance. I apologize to everybody here. for the error and advertise prior to more than 20 days, so it gives us a little bit more leeway, but I think it's a great, I agree with the decision.
State law, I don't know if that makes an actual, doesn't have an absolute time frame, correct? This would be a city.
This is for city, yes, there's nothing in the land use article that dictates it, it's the city code requirements. There's also a fairly recent case dealing with annexation and computation of time that supports the same thing that's set forth in the definitions here.
Further discussion? Comments from the applicant?
You guys know better than.
Got a motion on the table to continue the meeting next month, and it's been seconded. Without any further discussion, I guess we could call the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. We will continue this next month. I apologize, all guys.
I just want to be sure to get it right.
And just for the record, can we state that the vote was 3-0?
That was 3-0.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Were there any other?
See, first Tuesday of next month.
We can apply.
Yes, yep, we'll do new notifications.
Sorry.
And also, we're still working the simple things like now, nobody ever speak that yet. Thanks.
Mark, are there any other cases that might be pending or coming up?
I'm not aware of any, Joe probably answered that, I don't recall anything being submitted, there was a potential request for a variance for density purposes, but no application's been submitted for that.
Density is smaller lot.
Potential increase in density on a parcel. So an interesting case, but
Not Wakefield, is it?
no, it's for downtown property, so
Because Wakefield at some point is gonna come down the pike, I think.
it is. Both two Wakefield developments are coming down there.
The one that was approved years and years ago, because I've seen some red groundwork there with, I'm not sure if they're connectors, large white pipes up out of the ground at several spots to the left of Fenby Road.
They probably
The
is.
Griswold property from,
If you're entering Fenby, there's a property to the left that's being developed, and further down Fenby. There's another parcel being developed. So you have
that's the
two-
Crest property.
That's a Crest property, so we have two developments in the 20 to 30 single family unit range.
The one on the left of Fenby could have that many.
The one to the left that's around 20 to 22.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, originally I had been told that it was maybe 8 or 10 or something. Is what was being looked at. Because that's all zoned for 3-acre lots, isn't it?
No, this is an unusual. Wakefield is part of the development plan. So the underlying zoning districts in Wakefield are not relevant. Because of this past development plan that was approved back in the 70s or whatever it might have been approved, so that trumps the underlying zoning.
I thought that was one of the main overriding reasons that Mr. Crest didn't get the original approval. Kind of deal with lot sizes and.
I think it was density potentially, but yeah, that's an interesting case.
Oh,
We could go to court over that one.
So
yeah,
this
that's
is, so this is a compatible like neighborhood infill type situation?
No, it's the development plan, they'd have to modify the development plan to add density on the crest portion of it. The parcel to the left of Fenby Farms entering Fenby, that is parcel F1, it already had a density given allocated to it as part of the development plan years ago, just never developed out.
Any other business?
Yeah, it was just for curiosity's sake. Since I live in the property that adjoins the property,
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Adjourn city
Front
meeting.
door open.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Applications in.
We have one that's working through the system, but it's not complete.
I hope this law.
Shouldn't be. You're no longer